Picture this. You're working 40 hours a week at your local grocery store. You clock in early, you leave late, and at the end of the day, after taxes, you're only bringing in $1,200 a month. Your rent is $900. You still have to pay for utilities, groceries, as well as transportation. You can forget about savings. And emergencies? Those are luxuries that you cannot afford. Now imagine this isn't just you, but it's your family, your friends, your loved ones. This is the reality that millions of Americans face every single year. Hi, my name is Isaac McCurry, and I have spent the last few weeks researching the impact of wage policy on working families in America. I'm not an economist, but I am a student, a worker, and someone who believes that hard work should be paid properly. Today, I want to persuade you that raising the federal minimum wage is not just a policy choice, it's a moral and economic necessity. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25. That's the same as it was in 2009, over 15 years ago. According to the Economic Policy Institute, this wage hasn't kept pace with the inflation of this country. In fact, if the minimum wage had have kept up the pace, it would be $22 an hour today. But let's break that down a bit more. At $7.25 an hour, a full-time worker earns just $15,080 a year. The federal poverty level for a family in this country is $20,440. And yet, these workers are often the backbone of our economy, serving food, stocking shelves, caring for the elderly, and cleaning schools. Low wages aren't just a personal issue, but they are a public crisis. According to a 2022 study by the Brookings Institution, nearly 53 million people in the US, 44% of all workers, are in low-wage jobs. The result? People are forced to take on multiple jobs, rely on public assistance, or fall into debt just to make ends meet. So what's the solution? Raise the federal minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. This isn't just a radical idea, it's a long overdue correction. In fact, over 30 states already have minimum wages higher than $7.25. According to the Congressional Budget Office, raising the federal minimum wage to $15 could lift up to 17 million Americans off of poverty. It would also boost consumer spending, stimulate local economies, and reduce reliance on government aid. But what about the common objections? Some argue that raising the wage will lead to job losses. Yet multiple studies have proved the opposite, including one by the University of California, Berkeley. This university study showed that most modest increases in the minimum wage have little to no effect on employment. As a matter of fact, businesses often benefit from lower turnover and higher productivity from workers that are paid a livable minimum wage. Now, I want you to imagine two potential futures. The first future, we do nothing. We keep minimum wage at what it is right now at $7.25. Minimum wage remains frozen. Millions continue to work full time yet rely on food stamps and government aid, as well as second jobs. Families stay trapped in a cycle of poverty that is very hard to escape, and the gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen. Now, I want you to think about the second future. The second future is one where we take action. We raise the minimum wage. A single mom can finally pay rent without skipping meals. A college student working part-time will be able to afford various schooling necessities such as textbooks and schooling utensils. A retiree supplementing Social Security can cover their medication. Communities are strengthened. local businesses thrive, economic dignity is restored. Raising the minimum wage isn't just about income, but it is about justice as well. Now, what can you do to help this crisis? You can use your voice. Call or email your representatives and tell them you support raising the minimum wage. It only takes 5 minutes, but your voice matters. Vote. Pay attention to local, state, and federal elections. Vote for candidates who back living wage policies. Thirdly, you can support fair wage businesses. Shop at companies that treat their workers fairly and encourage others to do the same. Now, lastly, you can take everything that I have told you so far and help educate your fellow Americans about this crisis in our country. Use your platforms, social media, classrooms, conversation to help spread awareness about this current crisis. Now, you might not think that your choice matters, because behind every dollar not earned is a story like the one we started with. Real people, real struggles, and we all deserve better. Now, I want you to take a second and think back to the person working 40 hours a week and still barely scrapping by. Now imagine that person is you, or your sibling, or your parents, or your classmates, or even your child. Wouldn't you want them to earn a wage that they can actually live on? It's time we stop treating fair pay like a dream and started making it a reality. Let's raise the federal minimum wage today. Thank you.